Greetings, booktubers, and welcome back to Grammaticus Books. Welcome back to a special holiday book haul edition of Grammaticus Books. I have been trouble getting videos up this week. Got a little bit behind, and I've been behind due to, as Steve Donahue would say, adult responsibilities. So what are those adult responsibilities, Grammaticus? Well, since you asked, I'll tell you. One of the things that I do outside of BookTube, when I'm not doing BookTube videos or reading, is I will occasionally, by occasionally, I mean very rarely, accept art commissions from a certain company here in the U.S. There's one of the largest manufacturers of metal wargaming miniatures in the United States will periodically reach out to me and ask me to do art commissions for them. They'll send me a set of miniatures, and then I'll paint them and send them back to the company, and then the company puts them up on their website in order to use as advertising in order to sell product. And I don't like to do it. I do it very rarely, and the reason that I do it so rarely is because I paint even slower than I read, which is saying something, and it really can become a drain on my time. And unfortunately, the owner of this company knows exactly what buttons to push on me in order to twist my arm and get me to say yes. And he essentially gave me an offer I couldn't refuse. So I accepted this art commission. This was a while back. And I need to get it done. My deadline is not this Saturday, but this next coming Saturday. I've got to get these miniatures finished and painted. And it's been really cutting into my time in order to do BookTube videos this week. So that's why I'm a little behind, but I wanted to get this video up and running today. So we're going to go ahead and do the holiday book haul. Now let's just get right into it. And the first is going to be on Robert E. Highline. So I was going to do a video, actually I'm going to do a video here very shortly on science fiction, military science fiction, and Starship Troopers was going to definitely be one of the books that I was going to cover. And so I went to my collection of Highline books, which I've got about a dozen of them, and I realized that I didn't own Starship Troopers, which is completely unacceptable. I know how I can have a Highline collection without Starship Troopers, probably his most famous novel in it. And I had to remedy that immediately. So I went out online, and online sellers were selling this book for like 12 to 15 bucks. You could pick it up online. But then I found another seller who was selling this book along with 6 other Highline novels for 20 bucks. So for 12 to 15, I could get one Highline novel, or for 20 bucks, I could get 7. So being a booktube, on booktube and a bibliophile, obviously I went for the $20 7 books from Highline, including this copy right here of Starship Troopers by Highline, which I'm going to read. This is going to be the next book on my list. It's an okay cover. There's some pretty bad covers that have been done for Starship Troopers. This one's sort of middle of the road. It's not my favorite, but it's not the worst. So that was the first one of those Highline books. The second one that was in that shipment was Starman Jones. This is one of Highline's typical coming-of-age young adult novels. So I got that one, and then we have Orphans of the Sky, which I'd never heard of before. I'd call it really a novella more than a novel. It's only 128 pages, and this one sounds pretty interesting. So on the back it says, the universe was 5 miles long and 2,000 feet across. Men scoffed at the legends of such things as stars, or the demented idea that the ship was moving, for the ship was the universe, and there could be nothing outside. Then one man found his way to a forgotten room and saw the stars, and they moved. So that one actually sounds pretty interesting, and you could probably knock it out in one sitting. So I'll try to get that one read here sooner rather than later. And then the other book we got was Farmer in the Sky, which is another one I'd never heard of by Highline. And it's basically about a colonization, a farming colonization on Ganymede that gets hit with a disaster, and they have to try to recover. And then book number 4, I think this is book number 4. No, book number 5 is The Green Hills of Earth. And I believe that this is a collection of short stories, but I'm not 100% sure. It has a contents list here that's either chapters or short stories. And it's got an interesting little insert in here. It's a timeline. It's a two-dimensional timeline of the characters in the book and the time periods where they existed, and then the sociological, technological developments that were going on during the time period of the characters. So I'm interested to see how that relates how that chart relates to the book. And then we got Glory Road here as book number 6. And this actually appears to be a fantasy novel by Highline rather than science fiction, which I didn't realize that Highline had done any fantasy. And the back of it says, "The Glory Road led beyond the stars to a far, strange dimension, a world of peril, adventure, and enchantment for a war-weary young American. The elements of epic in this great tradition are here, but changed by the talent and magic of Robert Highline to create a story as original and striking as his classic Stranger in a Strange Land." So what I think this is about is a Vietnam vet comes back from Vietnam and finds some type of a dimensional portal to another epic fantasy universe. So that really has kind of got me intrigued. I really love to see, I've read a lot of Highline. It's all been science fiction, so I'd really love to see how Highline handles a fantasy novel, if indeed that's what this is. If anybody has read this and has thoughts on it, please put it down in the comments below. I'd love to hear them. And then the last book that I got in this Highline book haul was The Cat Who Walks Through Walls by Robert A. Highline. And that's actually a pretty good cover. I like that cover there. That's not a bad one. I recently reread this book. It's a great title. I love the title to that book. So I went out, I got it. I'm a Highline fan, a bit of a Highline fan, and reread it. And it is typical. It's typical problematic Highline. There are parts of this book that will make your eyebrows raise up, to say the least. I mean, Highline's kind of infamous for some of the themes that he will put into a few of his books, and they are here in spades in this one. That's for sure. That might be a subject for a whole video, is some of the stranger themes that started to run through Highline's books, particularly later in his career. And this would definitely be emblematic of that symptom of Robert A. Highline, would be this book right here. But there were some interesting things in this book as well. So that was the Highline collection that I picked up. The other thing I did is that I rounded out my Del Rey Conan edition. There are 3 Conan volumes put out by Del Rey, and these softbound books that collect every story written by Robert E. Howard in their unedited version. So this is, according to Michael K. Vaughan, the best collection to get, the best way to collect all the unedited versions of the Conan stories. So on Michael K. Vaughan's advice, I went out and I got the Coming of Conan, which is the first one in this 3-part edition by Del Rey. It was fantastic. I think Del Rey should send Michael K. Vaughan a Christmas card if they haven't already, because he has to have single-handedly doubled the sales of these books from Del Rey. And this one was so good that I went ahead and I got the other 2 in the series, which is The Conquering Sword of Conan and The Bloody Crown of Conan, which gives me my first complete collection of the unedited Robert E. Howard versions. And these come with great illustrations in them. They're packed with illustrations. The Bloody Crown of Conan has illustrations by Gary Gianni. You got a really nice, looks like a King Conan illustration there on the facing cover. And then he's got just some great pen and ink work, which if you're going to do black and white artwork, that's my favorite style, is pen and ink. I really like how that comes across on the page in black and white. A dragon with a crown. You got another nice little drawing there. And this book is just packed with these pen and ink workings by Gianni. So this one here, which is The Bloody Crown of Conan, contains The People of the Black Circle, The Hour of the Dragon, and A Witch Shall Be Born. And then The Conquering Sword of Conan also has artwork in it, but it's by a different artist. It's by Gregory Manchess. And he puts a little different style. It's all black and white. There are just dozens and dozens of illustrations in here. But he does more of sort of a charcoal or a shaded pencil look to his drawings. Got a big saber tooth there. Here you've got a man and his dog. I think that's a hound dog. I believe that's from Beyond the Black River, if I'm not mistaken. Find another one in here to show you guys. From The Black Stranger. a couple of pirates from the Black Stranger, and it gives you a feel of his artwork style. It's not my preferred style, but it is really good. He does a great job with it. And this book here contains the stories, The Servants of Bit-Yakin, Beyond the Black River, which is my absolute favorite Robert E. Howard story of all time. I should do a whole video on Beyond the Black River. The Black Stranger, The Man-Eaters of Zambula, and Red Nails, which is another great story. So this is going to be a fantastic book here, The Conquering Sword of Conan. If you guys are Robert E. Howard fans and you don't have these Del Rey editions, I would highly recommend them. Michael K. Vaughan recommends them very strongly, and I'm glad that I picked these up. So that was the other couple books I picked up. And then the last books in this book haul that I got was, I have The Sunset Warrior, the first in the Sunset Warrior series by Eric Van Lustbader. That was in my collection. And then I was able to find two more of the series. And I've got like a little special spot out here, a little hidden, it's not a bookstore, but a hidden little store that does sell books. And it's a coffee shop. And I like to keep it a little bit of a secret because this it's a little bohemian coffee shop that sits just a little ways north of the big university that we're close to. And inside of this coffee shop, they have two of the old spinner racks. And on these spinner racks, I don't know who they get their books from, but they're filled with vintage science fiction and fantasy. And the books on them are continually turning over. And it's just a fantastic place to go in. You've got these two spinner racks, you just check them out, and you can find just fantastic vintage science fiction and fantasy for dirt cheap on it. And I like to kind of think of it as my little hidden secret. Hopefully I can keep it that way. Hopefully I'm not giving it away by talking about it here on the channel. But I went out there and I was able to find Shallows of the Night, which is the second book in the Sunset Warrior series. And then the fourth book, kind of an epilogue, which was Beneath an Opal Moon by Eric Van Lustbader. I read these books a long time ago. I was probably in high school when I read these books. I know I probably got sucked in by that cover right there, which is just a fantastic cover. Love that cover. And my vague recollection of those books is that I didn't like them. I remember nothing about them. All I remember, it was so long ago, so many decades in the past, my only recollection of this Sunset Warrior series is that I have a vague recollection that I didn't care for them. So at some point here, I'm going to have to pick up the first in that trilogy. Actually, there's 4 to them now, which I learned of when I picked up that 4th book at that Bohemian coffee shop. But I'll have to give the first one a reread at some point and see if I have a different opinion of it or if I'm confusing it with something else, because like I said, I can't remember a thing about it. But that's it. That's my holiday book haul. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you've got any thoughts or comments on these books here, feel free to put them down in the comments section below. I do read all the comments. And I appreciate you guys checking out the video. And with that, I'm going to say take care, be safe, and I'll catch you guys in the future.